Happy Halloween. I am a licensed professional counselor in the state of Texas. I have a level 2 certification in trauma treatment and also a certification in narcissistic trauma abuse. This is my trauma and therapy cat assistant, Luna, and she's going to be joining us today because she just had to be in the video. So today we're going to discuss in the spirit of the holiday and the traits of the dark triad, as we would say. So basically, it's a psychological term. It's not a diagnosis that describes just the three traits that are involved in the commonalities and the patterns of manipulation, exploitation, and a lack of empathy that are seen in persons with personality disorders that are maladaptive. The first part of the dark triad is narcissism. So basically a lack of empathy, a need for admiration, a need for superiority and control, and just basically gaslighting behaviors, just a need to lie, manipulate, and to seem as though you are the one who's right, you're the one who knows more. So that's the first part of it. Machiavellianism is the next part. So basically, Machiavellianism, it's the idea that you have a lack of empathy or remorse, but you also have antisocial behavior. So you don't really necessarily care about breaking the rules or the laws as long as you don't get caught. So you care a little bit about fitting into society, but you're a sociopath because as long as you can get away with it, you will. So you have a lack of empathy along with impulsivity, which often narcissists are quite calculated. They can have a lack of impulsivity, but typically it only arises in certain situations unless they're an overt narcissist. But covert narcissists are really quite dark, and I think are part of the dark triad much more than overt narcissists. So the third one is basically psychopathy. So a lack of empathy or remorse, impulsivity, antisocial behavior, callousness, and also like you're superficially charming, you're manipulative, and you really have very, very low levels of neuroticism. And neuroticism sounds like a negative thing, but it basically means like anxiety, depression. So, kind of like serial killers, they can be stabbing someone or doing something that is very, very traumatic or that would typically cause somebody's heart rate to increase. And theirs won't. They can pass lie detector tests like nothing because they have no remorse. A person with narcissism may feel a sense of remorse, but typically the way that they deal with it is to project it onto someone else or to find a way to blame someone else so that way they don't have to take responsibility, therefore alleviating them of that feeling of remorse. Either way, if you display psychopathy, Machiavellianism, narcissism, I would say you are probably a dangerous individual unless you're willing to acknowledge and have the insight that you need to get help for that issue. Typically, though, these issues lend themselves to a lack of insight or a lack of willingness to gain insight. So therefore, the issue itself lends itself to making the treatment difficult. So I hope that was helpful for the dark triad information. And so we will continue to learn more about narcissism and other personality disorders, how to move forward. And if anyone has any questions or comments, please keep them appropriate, but I am more than willing to help or answer any questions. Thank you so much and happy Halloween.